Right now, we travel to Senator Scott Fitzgerald's district to see if people there agree with how he handled yesterday's special session on gun control.
And a controversial new proposal why people living in Sun Prairie may soon be paying more in taxes to provide child care at city meetings.
Plus, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The new Verona Road is set to open to the public in just a matter of days.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for joining us tonight. It took less than 30 seconds for Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald to shut down discussion on gun control legislation at the Capitol.
He said the bills Governor Evers wanted them to discuss violated the Second Amendment. Amy Reed joins us now to show us what people in Senator Fitzgerald's district think of the move.
So Fitzgerald represents a good chunk of Dodge County. It's a section of the state that often goes red in elections, and many people there support laws that reinforce the Second Amendment. But even if people agree with these bills not being passed, they don't agree with how it happened. At Walker's Restaurant in Beaver Dam,
I always come here for breakfast.
people are more focused on what they'll get to eat than what happens at the Capitol.
We really like to have fattening stuff, their burger, because it comes with those fried onion things.
Some say past frustrations made it easier to just stop paying attention, especially when elementary school workers say they see more progress at school.
We have conversations, we talk about problem solving, we talk about social skills, and to have that at our level with working with kids, it'd be nice to see that at the level down in Madison also.
Last night's 30-second session in Madison was no exception to that.
The November 2019 special session in the Senate will come to order.
Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald opened and closed the session without discussion on two gun control bills. The pieces of legislation which would expand universal background checks and allow judges to temporarily seize guns from people who pose a threat infringe on constitutional rights, he says.
I think if there are bills that would make sense to the Republican legislature, that we would call ourselves into regular session or extraordinary session to take those up.
Lori Thomas agrees the bills themselves weren't good ideas.
I think what happens with the laws, the good guys are penalized and the bad guys still get the guns.
But she says the gavel in, gavel out done in both the Senate and the Assembly hours later only stops the conversation.
Well, I don't think that's fair. There should always be discussion. There should be that option to be able to be heard.
And the people across the diner agree. It's time for a conversation, even if it's not over eggs and bacon.
You need both sides, you need both perspectives in order to be able to move forward and get something done.
After the Assembly finished with its calendar session, Speaker Robin Vos followed the same procedure as the Senate. Gavel in, gavel out. Vos said the state needs to work with the laws we already have, not take on bills he said wouldn't pass.
A 64-year-old woman from Florida is now charged for the 1999 murder of a woman in Racine County. The victim had been a Jane Doe until today, now identified as 23-year-old Peggy Lynn Johnson. The person arrested is 64-year-old Linda LaRoche of Cape Coral. She's charged with first-degree intentional homicide and hiding a corpse. Investigators say the victim's body was found in a cornfield in 1999 in the town of Raymond.
Peggy is currently buried as Jane Doe, as we know, at the Holy Family Cemetery in Caledonia, Wisconsin. In the coming weeks, we are going to make arrangements for Peggy Lynn Johnson to be buried alongside her mother in Belvidere, Illinois, where she can be laid to rest with her true identity and at some level of peace.
Officials say the victim was cognitively disabled, and at age 18, her mom died. That's when LaRoche took Johnson into her care. LaRoche is currently in custody in Florida. She waived extradition and will return to Wisconsin to face charges.
The Wisconsin National Guard sergeant says he's being discharged in retaliation for complaining about sexual misconduct in his unit. Master Sergeant Jay Ellis' complaint last year about alleged assaults within the 115th Fighter Wing in Madison has triggered 2 federal investigations, both of which are still ongoing. Ellis is now alleging that Guard officials have launched a review of his medical history to set up a medical discharge and then deny him retirement benefits in retaliation. He says he plans to appeal the decision. A military record-keeping agency has confirmed the military service of a Milwaukee man charged with a hate crime accused of throwing battery acid on a Latino man. The National Personnel Record Center confirmed Clifton Blackwell served in the Marines from 1975 to 1978. His mother says he suffers from post-traumatic stress. The 61-year-old is charged with first-degree reckless injury as a hate crime in the November 1st attack.
Getting a look outside right now, we nearly tied a cold weather record this morning, off by just 1 degree, but there are more chances for the record to fall in the week ahead. Let's check your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi.
Charlotte, that will happen after a brief warm-up for tomorrow. In fact, we can see evidence of that warm-up on Doppler track. Some flurries developing out to the west of us that'll move in here overnight. That's actually warmer air aloft that's heading in our direction. And while temperatures are in the middle to upper 20s across southern Wisconsin, they'll only fall a few degrees before rising later on. But the winds will also be fairly brisk, so wind chills right now are in the teens, and I don't expect them to change very much during the evening hours. Look for a chance for a few flurries overnight, but temperatures will slowly rise to around 30 by tomorrow morning. And look for a balmy high temperature of 41 degrees tomorrow, although that will still be 8 degrees below average. Unfortunately, more unseasonably cold weather is on the way early next week. I'll have more details on weather in a few minutes.
People living in Sun Prairie may soon be paying more in taxes to provide babysitting services at city meetings.
Now, the idea was proposed for the 2020 budget. Many residents say they think their money could be better used elsewhere. Jamie Perez tells us how much it's costing them and what the alders are saying. Jamie.
Well, the alder actually said that she wants to see how this works for at least a year. She said it would cost taxpayers an average of 16 cents more per month to fund this. But even so, a lot of people said that they do not support this. Alder Teresa Stevens said she's heard from a lot of people who said they have not been able to come to city meetings to voice their opinions on issues that matter to them because of child care obligations. Stevens said she wants to provide an opportunity for those people to have their voices heard and feels that a 16-cent increase is worth everyone having a voice at the table.
That's definitely what we're after, is to really test that and see, is this a need? Is this the one road bump that's keeping people from really participating? Give it an honest try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
And I spoke with some people around Sun Prairie today. A lot of them said they do not think this is necessary and that they would rather their tax dollars be used elsewhere. City Council will have a final vote on the budget on November 19th, so anyone who would like to have a say in this is welcome to comment then.
Jamie Perez reporting. Jamie, thank you.
Sure.
It is the day many of us have been waiting for years now. Traffic will shift onto the Verona Road. This
just
new
like
Verona
that
Road
camera
just shifts, just smooth like silk. Crews are putting the final touches on the expanded lanes between Raymond Road and County PD. Starting Sunday morning, 3 lanes will be open for southbound Verona Road traffic. By Monday morning, 3 northbound lanes will be open as well.
Schwinn is donating 125 new bicycles to an organization that serves foster families across Wisconsin. Employees work to assemble those bikes today at the company's Madison headquarters. The nonprofit organization Together We Rise will then distribute the bikes across the state throughout next year. It's part of Schwinn's larger Give Back campaign, donating $125,000 worth of bicycles to celebrate its 125th year of business. Still ahead tonight, a heads up for anyone heading downtown tomorrow around game time.
Plus, the remains of a World War II soldier killed overseas are finally back home in Beloit.
And there's more local news ahead tonight at 10. Level 3 of the high school football playoffs. Who will make it a step closer to Camp Randall? That's tonight in Prep Mania.
Welcome back. It is officially bell season. The annual Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign kicked off today. Organizers say the money raised goes to help more than 4.5 million people during the holiday season. New this year, bell ringers will now accept digital donations through Apple Pay and Google Pay. A World War II veteran returns to Beloit after being shot and killed in action.
Sergeant Robert McCarville's remains were recovered from Papua New Guinea and identified using DNA. Gabriella Becerra shares what his return means to his loved ones. Gabby?
Sergeant Robert McCarville has 4 living siblings and many nieces and nephews who didn't expect to hear their loved one was coming home from war. His niece, who never had the chance to know her uncle, shares what it means to have him home.
What are the odds of him ever being able to be identified and bring him home?
The thought of an uncle she never met coming home from World War II never seemed real to Maureen McCarville.
Almost like a fairy tale, you know. We had this uncle, and we had this picture, and we had these stories. Well, now we actually have our uncle.
Sergeant John McCarville signed up to serve in the Army after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor.
What happened was, when they were on the island, they came upon a very well camouflaged nest of gunners, Japanese gunners, and they got into like a pretty ferocious fight. And my uncle was one that got killed.
His remains were identified using DNA, and McCarville will be buried in Beloit next to his parents.
For most veterans, it's a closing point. It's a closure for the family, but even more with this wonderful program of finding remains and bringing back the unknowns. It's probably even more. I'm sure it means more.
McCarville will receive full military honors at his funeral on Saturday. Veteran Mark Van Zant has served in honor guard ceremonies.
I'm saying thank you for your service, and that's what we want to honor them truly, because they've given the ultimate sacrifice to protect us.
McCarville says her uncle's return will bring closure to the family.
This kind of brings it all together.
McCarville's niece shared that her uncle's wish was to be buried with his comrades if he was killed in duty, so his sister didn't want to move him, but the military explained that all of his comrades are going home too. McCarville's funeral is tomorrow in Beloit.
Gabby, thank you.
All right, if you are heading down to the Badger football game tomorrow, or if you're simply in the downtown area, expect to see a low-flying military aircraft. The State Department of Military Affairs says at approximately 3 o'clock, a KC-135 refueling tanker from the Milwaukee-based 128th Air Refueling Wing will conduct a low-level training flight over the Madison area, performing a flyover at Camp Randall Stadium. That is part of pregame festivities.
Still ahead tonight, we'll go live to the Kohl Center as the Badgers prepare for the home opener against Illinois, and a planned ceremony ahead of the game to honor assistant coach Howard Moore.
That'll be a very special night there. But first, the alert days that are in our forecasts as we near more record-breaking low temperatures over the next week. Your complete forecast coming your way next.
Today is National Philanthropy Day. The Association of Fundraising Professionals of Madison hosted its 32nd annual Philanthropy Day Awards luncheon at the Overture Center. Neil Heinen and Susan Simon were the MCs. Pleasant Rowland was among the honorees this year. She was given the Lifetime Achievement Award for bringing the Overture Center to Madison.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us now. The good news is, let's focus on that. We're going to warm up for the Badger game tomorrow.
Yeah, but I still have 2.5 minutes to fill after that.
And that's all bad news.
Yeah, that's not great news. Let's start out with the Badger forecast for tomorrow. Big game against the Iowa Hawkeyes, and temperatures will be about as warm as we've seen over about the last week and a half. 40 degrees at kickoff. The high temperature of 41 will probably be just after that. But temperatures will already be starting to cool off as we head toward the second half of the game into the middle to upper 30s. And I don't think we'll see any precipitation, but it might be a little breezy at times, so that will keep a chill in the air. And again, this is still chilly for November, just warmer than we've seen in recent days. Three things we need to know in the forecast. Not as cold for tomorrow, but again, still chilly for November. And then Sunday, the colder air starts to move in. Could see some light snow late in the day, more likely Sunday night into Monday morning. And then that's followed by unseasonably or near record cold temperatures from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. As we look at Doppler track right now, things pretty quiet. There might be a couple of flurries developing out to the west of us. That's actually warmer air aloft that's heading in our direction. So this time of year, when you have a wind flow near the ground becoming a little more southerly, and you start seeing the precipitation even aloft, that's an indication that it is starting to warm up a little bit. And in fact, if you look at temperatures over the next 12 hours, we'll only probably fall a few more degrees before those temperatures start to rise, and we'll probably be close to 30 by early tomorrow morning. But after that mild day or milder day tomorrow, it'll be slightly colder for Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we have alert days. High temperatures, low to mid 20s. Nighttime low temperatures in the single digits. I think the record that's probably most in jeopardy right now is the 7-degree low temperature set in 1986 on Tuesday morning. Right now, I have a forecast low of 6 degrees above zero. But we could be close to record lows on Wednesday morning, as well as record low high temperatures for Monday and Tuesday. High temperatures over the next 10 days, we should be in the upper 40s, dropping to the lower 40s by the end of that 10-day period. And our temperatures every one of the next 10 days will stay below average. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Pretty quiet out there. The clouds are moving in, but it's a high, thin cloud cover right now. Low temperature this morning, 8 degrees, just 1 degree above the record low of 7 set back in 1991. 28 degrees, the official high temperature for today. We're just below that now at 27. Skies have turned cloudy. Winds out of the south at 11 miles per hour. Give us a wind chill of 17 degrees. Last night, temperatures were in the single digits above zero through much of Wisconsin away from Lake Michigan. Black River Falls dropped to 8 degrees below zero, and that was actually the coldest temperature in the nation. You can see the center of that cold air mass almost right over Wisconsin, and that's because we have some snow cover on the ground where a lot of the rest of the Midwest doesn't have that. Temperatures right now are in the 20s, but notice out to the west, those readings are in the 30s. That's what's coming in our direction for tomorrow afternoon. But again, it'll turn colder after that. Tonight, mostly cloudy, breezy, not as cold. Maybe a couple of flurries. Low 22 this evening, then temperatures rising through the 20s overnight. For tomorrow, variably cloudy and not as cold day. High temperature at 41 degrees. Shouldn't see any precipitation during the day. On future track, those temperatures starting to climb overnight into the upper 20s by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, mix of clouds with a little bit of sunshine. High temperatures in the lower 40s. But notice the winds already becoming westerly and then eventually west-northwesterly tomorrow night. Temperatures dropped around 30 with maybe a couple of flurries. And on Sunday, those temperatures only get into the mid-30s. And then some light snow developing out to the west of us could be in here late in the afternoon, more likely Sunday night into Monday morning. And then after that, that's when the next batch of bitterly cold air comes in. High of 24 on Monday, 20 on Tuesday, and 27 on Wednesday. By the end of the week, temperatures at least up to around 40 by Saturday, and just a slight cool off after that.
High school playoff action from Green Bay, and the Wisconsin home opener means more than basketball tonight. We'll have a live preview. Let's do some sports after the break.
I'm Amanda Quintana. Tonight on the news at 9, there's new evidence that a specific chemical may be to blame in the lung injury vaping outbreak. We'll explain tonight on Fox 47.
The Wisconsin men's basketball team opens the home portion of the regular season schedule tonight against Eastern Illinois. But tonight's matchup with the Panthers goes far beyond basketball. News 3 Now's Jay Wilson is the point guard of our coverage from the Kohl Center. Good evening, Jay.
Thanks, Kevin. Good evening, everyone. Well, the evening will get a bit of an early start here at the Kohl Center. At 6:45, they're going to have a ceremony to honor the family of Badger assistant coach Howard Moore. You'll remember that Moore's wife and daughter were killed in a tragic car accident in Michigan last May, and Howard Moore is still trying to recover from his injuries. But the Badger program has Moore's family on its minds all season long. The team is wearing warm-up shirts that say, "Do more, be more, for more." Everyone associated with the Badger basketball family has been affected by the tragic events, and they're hoping tonight can help heal some very raw wounds for not just the Moore family, but the team as well.
Just something we're always talking about and something we're playing for. Just as you say, like extra motivation for us to, really represent him and also the university.
I think, like I said, it's going to be emotional. He's still heavy on my heart and my teammates' heart. Each and every day we get a step in here because we don't get to see his face around here the way we used to. So having just a singular game, but like you said, a season dedicated to him, he's always on the forefront of our minds and on our hearts. So it'll be extremely special.
There's going to be a special moment before the game as Howard Moore's 13-year-old son, Jarrell, will be introduced with the Badgers starting lineup. And a couple of players for Eastern Illinois to keep an eye on, as former Madison East star Dang Dang and former Madison Memorial star Sharif Smith are both members of the Panthers roster. Again, Wisconsin, Eastern Michigan tipping off just after 7 tonight. Kevin, back to you.
Good stuff. Sports Director Jay Wilson, thank you very much. Enjoy the game. State volleyball tournament in full swing in Green Bay. The McFarland Spartans, the #1 seed in Division II, looking for a spot in Saturday's finals. They'd have to get through 4th seed Bloomer to get there. First set, Spartans on offense. Lizzie Fortune, Avery Penkamp for the kill. Spartans go on a 12-3 run to take the first set. Second set, Fortune. Quick setting. Katie Hildebrandt for the point. Spartans on a roll. Third set. Watch this pancake from McFarland's Aaron Eggers. Bloomer trying to get points, but they can't find him. Katie Hildebrandt, Hannah Rounds punch the ticket for the Spartans to advance to the next round. They sweep and will take on Luxembourg Casco tomorrow in the D2 finals.
I dreamt of this as a player coming to this, and dreamt of this as a coach. Been coaching for many years, and it's a dream come true, and I've gotten some great advice from experienced coaches.
It's just such a different atmosphere when you're actually playing. It's fun when you're watching, and it's really cool to see everyone. When you're actually on the floor, you really understand what those people are feeling and what it takes to win.
Division III semifinals, Waterloo taking on Aquinas. The Blue Golds up 1-0. Waterloo's Brooke Mosher, yes, capitalizes off the bad pass. Pirates tie things up, but in the third, Pirates looking to come back, down 2-0. Mosher to Sophia Schneider. Down the line, but not enough. Aquinas sweeps Waterloo and will take on Howard's Grove tomorrow in the title game.
We feel down right now, but once summer comes, we're going to get right back into it, and we're going to come back.
They played a really good match despite our best efforts to stop them, so congratulations to them. But also on the flip side, I'm extremely proud of our team and what we accomplished this season.
Just some of the games we're working on for Level 3 playoff coverage in Prep Mania. Big 8 on Big 8 Crime in the quarterfinals. Sun Prairie at Madison Memorial. Wanakee and Lake Mills both have tough road matchups. DeForest tries to stay unbeaten. Mineral Point and Mondovi, a combined 22-0 this season, and the reigning state champion in Division 7. Black Hawk, Warren, Illinois, hosting River Ridge. Bundle up. We got a lot coming on, going on tonight. 8 games involving area teams, all trying to make it to the state semis.
Some fantastic games through Sun Prairie
really
Memorial.
Good matchups,
That's going to be a big
really
one.
Good. Yep.
Look forward to that tonight at 10.
At least we don't have to worry about lightning tonight.
Hey!
I'm trying to look at the good
That's
side.
That's a very positive spin.
Those temperatures still in the mid to upper 20s with wind chills in the teens. Yes, if you're going to the football games, bundle up. And after a brief warm tomorrow, another shot of very cold air early next week.
But no umbrella necessary.
Right.
No
umbrella, no lightning.
There you go.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 10.